Well, it's time for us to face the disaster draw in the Europa Conference League qualifiers, a competition we are expected to reach the quarter-final in. But if we don't beat English opposition, we won't even make the group stage of the competition. We go into it with a hammer blow from the transfer window as well. All in all, this is looking like a tough start at Sporting Lisbon. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 52 of the Coach's Head with me, Daniel. We have joined our final club of the save in Sporting Lisbon. We were looking at a little run in the Europa Conference to try and make it towards the end of this competition. As it is, we may not even make it through qualifying. We've had an unfortunate draw as we face English side Nottingham Forest, former European champions, in the final qualifying round. And anything other than a victory over the two legs means we will not get through to the group stages of the competition, which, given the fact we were expected to reach the quarterfinals, is potentially a bit of a disaster. We're also falling well behind on league fixtures. We're going to be 3 or 4 behind before we even get to the first international break. So if you're looking forward to seeing what's happening, as well as some pretty sad news for us in the transfer window too, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. I'm going to have to take you through that first before we head into the first leg of this one, because if we go and have a look at the transfer centre, there are a couple of potential ins, but also one massive out. Let's have a look at the transfer history, just so you can see, since you were last here, nothing has been done formally, but the things that may be done are a disaster. Because our best holding midfielder, Denis Telehovsky, is off to Brighton by the looks of it. 18 million offer up front, rising to 27.5. I can understand why it's hard to reject, to be honest. I looked at his history as well. He was signed for nothing a year ago. A free agent 1 season ago. It's a pretty incredible deal, isn't it? Does say a lot, though, that he couldn't break into the Benfica team and that he then became a superstar for this club. So that's potentially a bit of a concern. He played well in the European qualifier, but he looks like he's going to be off and replaced by Guy Zahori, who we've made an offer for from Legia Warsaw for 2.3 million, rising to 6, a fraction of the wage as well. And to be fair, he's all right. But again, he's the playmaker type, so more a replacement for Braganca moving forward, and doesn't really leave us with a starting option in that ball-winning defensive ball-buster role. And while he is just as good physically, he's very good mentally, and he's great on the ball. He's not potentially that defender we were looking for, but I can understand the premise, can't I? You're saving 25 million, 70 grand a week, and you're not weakening the squad that much. I get it. This is the sort of club we're at. The other one that may be coming in is a bit more of a surprise, because while the transfer fee is excellent for a name you'll recognise in Callum Doyle, 1.9 million in total fees from Sassuolo, they've offered him 99 grand a week, which is a cut from what he's earning at the moment, but is also, I think, the highest at our club. I'm not sure we have anyone earning that much. John Hervenhov is level at the top at the minute. I'm not sure that's a particularly good spending of the wages. At 29 as well, he's not the best physically already, so I'd imagine he may decline. And he's a good defender. But when I look at our starting 11, is he much better than what we've got? Probably not. In truth, while centre-half has been a weak area, the signing of Laskowski's pretty much dealt with that. So I'm not sure that that's the signing I would have made. But he'll be a good player for the squad. So for me, in a coaching role, working under a director of football, it could be worse. That would be fair. We may well see Matteo Gabbia move on as well. I guess that's possibly the other side of it. But then him and Sano are both left-footed. The other one, Laskowski, he's right-footed, but he prefers to play on the left-hand side. So there's a potential balance issue. We'll come to that later. For now, though, we have got to focus on our first leg against Nottingham Forest. We have got 4 more big games this month and then fixture congestion. Because, of course, as well as hopefully having European group stage football, we've already fallen behind on the league fixtures. No idea why we didn't play the first weekend. We did win our first league game of the season, though, since you were last with me. Not the most convincing performance. We didn't offer much against us at one end, but equally, I have to be fair and say we didn't create an awful lot. A 2-0 victory, Hervenhov getting off the mark was a bonus. Rorado scored. It was heavily rotated with this game in mind, as would the team be at the weekend. But in truth, it was a victory. It's 3 points, and at this stage of the season, that's pretty much all we've got to do. I will have a look at when the transfer window shuts just to see. whether we need to balance out the fixtures or not. Yes, we do. So what we're actually going to do for the next 2 episodes is we're going to show you fixture congestion and transfer action live. Today, we're going to do the first leg of Forest and a tough away game at Estrella 3 days later with a rotated side. Although I guess if we get battered by Forest, we can then maybe look elsewhere. And then the flip side of that is the next episode will be Forest, Oliverense and transfer deadline day. It's going to be a big finish to the month and it's going to shape our season. So before we go and get into it, let's start with the first leg at Nottingham Forest. Have a little preview of this game. It doesn't look good for us. They've got a good side, Forest. Still a couple of the original defenders at the club. One of them starting in Omar. But for us, we're just going to go and get through. No sign of Anthony Alanga, who has been a first teamer for them. The 9 changes they're suggesting. We played our reserves at the weekend, of course, or let's call it a heavily rotated team. So let's go and adjust this from what the assistants picked if need be. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Unfortunately, Gabriel Silva's injured again. So at the moment, the only real talking point in this team is sort of holding midfield, especially with Telehovsky about to be off. Braganca just hasn't got the fitness to start. Redondo's okay, but not a world beater. He might have to move into that DM role a bit later on, which is frustrating, but we'll cope with it as we need to. This is the team that we've gone for today, though. I think the same 11 we played in the first leg against Servette. It's Durgan Alemdar in goal with Kirkes and Abdurrahman racing at the fullback with Gabia and Laskowski in the middle. Redondo alongside Dinis, possibly for the final time in this one. Fatawu and Rivera out wide. Otavio the number 10. Casilva injured again on his comeback. And John Hervenhoff. He's off the mark now. He's up front through the middle. Can he deliver tonight? Let's go and find out. We're going to drop to a balanced mentality once we get into it. But away at Forest, I just want to stay in the tie. Give us a chance at home. We're just looking at the bench here for Forest. Some familiar names for sure. Jamal Lewis, Anthony Alanga, Keen Lewis Potter, Zeki Amdouni. There's a lot of experience and quality there. It suggests they've probably gone on some upgrades this summer. I'm going to tell the boys I want to be impressed. I've got no reaction. We are going to drop to balanced here because I don't want to go crazy away from home. I do want to try and catch out on a counter-attack and hopefully, through the Europa Conference music, we'll find a way to do so. This is a real heavyweight clash. This is the sort of game that would have probably been a quarter-final tie had we not drawn each other today. And I'm looking at who all the other big clubs have got, and it is an unfortunate draw, isn't it? You look at some of the bigger boys in qualifying. Feyenoord have got a really winnable game. Who else did I see at home? Fenerbahce have got Elfsborg, which with respect we would win. I'm a little bit upset that this is the tie we've got, but then you look elsewhere. Rennes v Sassuolo. It's France v Italy. They're trying to put the big nations out. Half an hour gone. Forest yet to have a shot. I am thrilled with the boredom this game is bringing. If we can play out the most boring 0-0 in the world, this might be one of the results of our save so far of our career, because this is a really challenging game. And if we can be ahead or level at the half-time point in a tie, I'd be delighted. We've had the only shot so far. We're going to say you have to be better in front of goal. Let's get a little bit of a kick up the backside because this game is potentially there for the taking. They made a change. I just wanted to see how they got into Europe. Was it via the league? So they finished 6th and 8th. So yeah, it probably is. I was just seeing if they'd won anything in recent seasons. No Premier Leagues. FA Cup, no. Last one was against Luton in 59. And then League Cup, no. So they haven't won anything. It's just from becoming that sort of top 8 side, which you've got to give them credit for over the last 2 years. I can only apologise for the boredom this game is bringing, but this was my plan. Drop a bit deeper. Don't give them much space defensively. And play out a result. I said Fenerbahce had an easy tie. They're behind at home. I'm not even going to make changes here too early. I'm only going to make 1 rather than my usual 4 or 5. We're going to take Otavio off in the number 10 role. I'm tempted to bring on an even more defensive-minded player, but I'm not going to. I'm going to bring on Zacharias as the number 10 there. I'm going to leave the rest of the subs because I don't see the benefit in changing this team. It's doing the job fantastically. So we're just going to throw a bit of encouragement. We've offered Forest nothing and we've offered nothing, but we'll take that as Lewis Potter puts a corner in. Do not let them nick one here. They don't deserve to even have a shot on target, let alone a goal. Keeper comes, does really well. I'm thrilled with that. It was quite slow this game as well, as if we're just dropping the tempo, deliberately trying to keep it calm. There's a big kick over the top from the keeper. Hervenhoff and Zacharias chase to wait to Estevao. You can see it coming because they've brought the big guns on here. Alanga on the left-hand side. They so don't deserve to win this game. Chukwu gets down the left. Chance to cross. A good ball in. It's going to be a penalty, is it? No, cleared away. Zacharias, what are you doing? I've only made one sub and he's ruined it. Gives the ball away, but Dennis wins it back. Oh, we're going to miss you. But this highlight's been going on too long. It's going to end with a goal, you can tell. Out to Chukwu on the left yet again. Chance to cross. Cuts back. Bellissimo, just wide of the post. We've survived. First moment of danger for us. And there's a few tired legs, so let's just freshen it up. Young Pedro Mendes is going to replace Fatawu. Kirkes is going to come off at left back because he's on a booking. We'll bring on Neil Volken. Redondo in that holding role. Braganca, I think, can come on. I know he's not great physically. He's just good on the ball, isn't he? Or I could, to be fair, I could bring on Continella, who's far better defensively, and move Telehovsky over. Let's do that for now. Something a little bit different. No point resting Telehovsky because he's off next week. I could take a racing off because we are getting skinned down that right a bit. Follison's not the best physically though. I don't really have another option. So going to leave it at that. Make one more sub shortly. We're close to the 0-0, which would just be remarkable. Let's encourage one more time. One shot on target apiece. A terrible game of football to watch, but possibly the most important result of the season if we pull it off. Hervenhov is struggling up front. I'm just going to bring on... In fact, no, I'll do Rivera on the left for Vasco Souza. Give him 3 minutes of fitness and hopefully get us a 0-0. I can only apologise for the fact that that game has probably bored you to tears, but I'm telling you now, that is an unbelievable result. So important in the context of our season. A 0-0 draw in England, a really good result at the City ground, and hopefully going into the second leg, that is advantage Sporting Lisbon. Back in a moment to get to the league on Sunday, where we're definitely going to have to rest people now. Hopefully it'll be enough to beat Estrella, who have started well. We'll find out in a moment, where a lot of this subs bench you're going to see in action. Well, things have just gone from good to exceptional. Denis Telehovsky has rejected Brighton. Why, I don't know. How, I'm not sure. But I am not going to complain. Denis Telehovsky stays and our best holding midfielder remains at the club both for the second leg and moving forward. No chance he's fit at the weekend, but that's the Brucey bonus that we weren't even hoping for in this episode. We thought it was beyond possible. But Denis Telehovsky remains a Sporting Lisbon player. And now, if we can get the extra depth in elsewhere, this is starting to look like a pretty good squad. Okay, it's still massively oversized, but this is a very good summer window so far. If we could just sneak one of those in, maybe Zahori before the weekend, would even give us a few more options for rotation. Because, of course, neither of those would be eligible next Thursday. They can get in the door before Sunday. They'll be starting, let me tell you that. Well, unfortunately, we don't have either of the new signings available today. And equally, we don't have Gabriel Silva either. He's still not fit. And I think we may have discovered why he's not made it to a top club. Albeit, it does say that he's not injury prone here and he's a consistent performer. Hopefully he'll be better than the consistent level he showed in his first game of the season. Let's go and get through to the fixtures though, as Brighton apparently are still chasing Telehovsky. They are the only club after him though, so if he keeps rejecting them, looks pretty good for us for now. Let's get through to the fixtures and see how we're going, because for anyone who thought there wouldn't be a formidable opponent this year in the Portuguese league, Porto, 4 games, 4 wins, 12 points. And to give you some perspective on that, they've already played Braga in their last match as well, came back and got themselves a good victory in the second half. And they've even got Thomas Avalos in defence, who scored 2 already this season. Player we know well from our Twitch save, was quite a big feature in it last night, actually, if you haven't seen that one yet. There's also Benfica playing today. They've played 3-1-3, got an exceptional goal difference and beaten Braga as well. So definitely some firepower in those big two. And to be fair to Braga, they've won 2 matches and still got a positive goal difference, despite the fact they've been away to Benfica, or at home to Benfica and away to Porto, and they beat Benfica in a Super Cup. So those 3, I think, are going to be pretty tough. For us, we've just got to deal with Sunday, Thursday, and find a way to get ourselves a victory. We can deal with the second leg in the next episode. There's excitement because we've got a chance in it now. But this one is crucial, because if we throw away points, it's going to count for nothing. Is that Harry Pickering? It is Harry Pickering. 34 years of age now. They're not quite the same level of opposition, albeit he's still a good player, just not there physically. But what a player, eh? Popping up after his spell in English football from Blackburn. We're going to go and close a few down today. We're going to go and pick our team. I would imagine most of this 11 is going to be saved for Thursday. So probably 8 or 9 changes. We'll be back in a minute to confirm it. Well, in the end, it is the 9 changes with just the goalkeeper and the centre forward staying in. That's mainly in the hope that Silva's fit on Thursday. The rest of it, though, all change. We've got a back four of Volken, Sano, Valesen and Kubik. Here's a player that we promoted from the youth team after coming back from a loan. He's not bad. Not a natural right back, but we'll live with it for now. Continella and Rorado, who scored on the opening day, are in midfield. We've also got Braganca and Pinto on the bench if need be there. And it's Zacharias in the middle with Souza and 17-year-old Pedro Mendes on the right. This kid is starting to become a superstar. I think he'll be a starter by the end of the year. He's getting better that quickly. He's starring already. 3 assists in 3 appearances this season. Proper talent. Let's go and get into this one. Don't need it to be pretty. Just need to get a win. Keep on track ahead of Thursday night. Well, 1 change made for the hosts. Plenty more for us, of course. And Harry Pickering does start. So there's a familiar name in the home team. The Battle of the Englishmen is about to commence. Let's hope we can get this job done. Hopefully, then maybe get the likes of Hervenhov off for a few minutes. And possibly 1 or 2 others that may feature in the week. And also a chance to get fitness into some of the other squad players too. They're playing a 4-4-2, which I don't think we've come up against yet. So I'm just hoping in the first half we'll deliver the goods. It'll be a little disjointed. There's a few players who aren't fit. There's a few who aren't particularly good. Let's see what happens here. Hang on a minute. I thought they were playing in vests for a minute. The kit, it's like skin colour on the sleeves. I genuinely thought that there was vests in FM. I was about to get very confused there as Pedro Mendes cutting in from the right. Zacharias up to Hervenhov. Wide to the left to Souza. Through ball to Hervenhov. He's not scored in Europe, but he's in the league. He's in form, but not there. He's just a little slow on the shot. And Zacharias fires the rebound over as Nunes heads away, but Volken wins it back. We're keeping the pressure on in our opponent's half. Continella to Zacharias. There's Pedro Mendes. Great save. He's looking very, very promising. He's starting to get in. He just needs that goal in the league, doesn't he? He's on corner duty as well. If he can find the right delivery, might get an assist. Sano's up's headed away. Going to be another one from the other side. Pressure's on early doors, but can we make it count? The last thing we want is this to just stay 0-0 and become one of those frustrating games where we have to bring on the big guns. Bollison heads over. They survive it. 12 minutes gone. It's all Sporting Lisbon, but with nothing to show for it. Well, it's about to be half time and it's becoming the game I hoped it wouldn't be. Frustrating. Not really looking like scoring. And one where we're going to have to chuck the big guns on to try and nick it. I'm going to say I don't like what I've seen. We've not offered enough. And ironically, Pedro Mendes is the player who's not playing very well. If we can get an early goal in a second half, it changes everything. As Souza finds Rorado. We had to be quite patient in the other game. As Volken gets the ball into the back post. Pedro Mendes up. Oh, he's hit the post. That would have been a moment to change the performance round, wouldn't it? It's out to Volken on the left again. He lets it run for a throw. Doesn't show much ambition in doing that. We're 5 into the second half. And again, you look at the match stats now. We should have scored a couple. We've not made our chances count. And I think we're not far from seeing the big guns. What would be a disaster is if we let them score up the other end. And here they come with Manuba. Cannot really afford to drop points while we're trying to rest people for Europe. It's going to be a delicate balancing act. And it seems to be where Porto and Benfica have got the added advantage over us. They've got that strength in depth and that quality across the squad. As Kiva into Pickering, who's playing that inverted role from the wide area. Into Velasco. Through ball is pretty poor. Sano intercepts and now he can break. Rorato's got Mendes right. Souza left. The ball's behind him. We still keep possession. He goes wide to Mendes on the right. Fullback's not looking to overlap. Mendes eventually just waits for him. Kubik plays it back to him. Pedro Mendes in. Across the box to Zacharias. Mendes with the assist again. He's a machine, that man. Zacharias makes it count. Makes it 1-0. I won't lie to you. They're the 2 I was about to take off. Now I'll give it an extra 10 minutes. Because while it's not convincing again, a win is all we need. And as we head towards the last half an hour, we're in that winning position as we nick it back with Rorado. Zacharias to Souza. Now a second would be lovely. Souza to the byline. Chance to cross. Zacharias there again. And for the fact he scored what might be the winner, he's missed 2 absolute sitters on his weaker side. And that is a cause for concern. We're going to make changes. I'm going to take Hervenhov off up front. Our guard will come on. Just get himself some fitness. Zacharias is going to come off as well. He's going to be replaced by Otavio. Braganca will replace Rorado. I think we need to go for a couple of stronger options in defence. So I'm going to go for either Laskowski or a Racing. I'm not sure which one is the better option here. I think I'm going to go Laskowski for Kubik and push Volleson out to right back. And then it saves us one more sub where we can either take off Souza if he needs a rest a bit later, or we can take off Continella if we want him for Thursday night. But that'll probably depend on whether we get a second goal or potentially if we concede, because our expected goals is almost 3 and we just haven't made it count. As we head to the final 15, it's actually Mendes struggling now. So I'm going to take him off for Pinto. We're going to push Otavio out right. Then Pinto will have to just go in as the number 10 and hopefully he can do the job for us. He's not natural as a shadow striker, but for now he's going to be one. Let's just hope we can hold on. In truth, they've offered very little going forward. We've offered tons. But when you don't put the game away, you always end up with a nervy finish, don't you? And you know they're going to get one chance as they play into midfield. And doors come deep. The striker plays right for Capita. Please don't do this to me. Not in a game where we've had so many chances. Ball into the box is dealt with by Sano. Oh my God, what are you doing? You absolute idiots! Just clear the bloody ball. Oh, what a way to give one away. Seriously, they've had to do nothing for that. And now we're going to drop points in the league against Estrella, which with the greatest of respect is not going to help us win a title, is it? I mean, I think we need to accept that we're not going to be up there with Porto and Benfica this year. But that is a game we couldn't afford to drop points. A stupid draw, a ridiculous equaliser to give away. And we've also got to ask questions of the attacking players because nearly 3 expected goals, we've missed some sitters. And that is a real missed opportunity. For all of the brilliance against Nottingham Forest, it's frustration here. And that leaves us with a pretty sour taste into our mouth going into Thursday night. And I think shows you the challenges we're going to face in a much tougher league when we have to balance the squad this season, especially if we do get through on Thursday, though that problem may be resolved for us naturally. Let's go and get through the dressing room. I'm really not happy with that. The manner of the goal you gave away as well. So poor. Let's have a look at any of the outcomes from today. Any injuries, anything like that? Estrella have started well, to be fair. We shouldn't be too upset, but they're not the sort of games you can drop points in this league. You know it for sure. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on Thursday, the big game, the return leg against Forest, after a brilliant job on the road at the City Ground, and please do put a thumbs up on the video. Dennis Telehovsky turning down Brighton. What a Brucey bonus that is. But will we have either of these two new boys in our squad for next Sunday before the transfer window closes and before we have to deal with the squad rotation again? Maybe we can see why the director of football wants to make that squad stronger. If you want to stay up to date and see how we get on and what he does on transfer deadline day, depending on whether we're in the European groups or not, and subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time with the answer before we then get cracking, hopefully with European group stage football and some big games at the top of the Portuguese division. I feel like I had to show you this window because it has been eventful, and this is no ordinary playoff tie to qualify for the group stages in the Conference League. In the meantime, though, if you haven't seen it already, we have got the defining episode coming up in our other save tomorrow. We're back in English football in our Save in Southend career. Season 16 ends with an FA Cup and Champions League final. We've never won the big one before. Can we do it this time? Come and join me tomorrow to find out. There's also links up there to the Twitch channel where we've got loads of live streams over the next few weeks and the football podcast with championship predictions and live streams almost every single match day. Come and get involved with all of that. Thank you for watching as always. And I'll see you back here next time. Hopefully for less frustration and hopefully for a victory in Conference League qualifying. I'll see you there to find out if we can complete the job.